Today we are talking about Beverly and George Franco and what they want to do to secure their retirement for the future and how they can diversify their assets. Let's get started and let's bring Dave in. Dave, welcome to our show today.
Hello, CR. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. All this fun stuff that we've got going on right now.
Dave, I was hoping to see you in all different kinds of outfits as you explained each one of those.
Yeah, well, I do have a Santa suit. Thought about wearing it today, but I'm not at my house. I'm at a resort. Thought that might be a little strange to have all the kids chasing me around the resort in my Santa outfit.
Well, I'm glad you're here nonetheless, Dave, because we always are here talking about retirement, even during the holidays.
Yes, we are. We are here 52 weeks out of the year, happy to share information with people to help them better understand the risks they're going to face during their retirement years.
All right, Dave, let's jump into our first one today. This is Beverly and George Franco. They are wanting to secure their retirement plan, and they are age 63 and 64. They are 7 years out from their retirement. Their home is paid off, and they have little credit card debt. And most of their savings is in a 401k. Now, Beverly is planning to receive her Social Security benefits at age 70 when they retire. George will take his about 71 when they can retire together. Both soon-to-be retirees have a good chance of living well into their late 80s and have been in fantastic health for years. Their goal is to diversify their retirement assets. So, Dave, let's break this one down for Beverly and George. Where are they at? Are they okay right now?
So a couple of things that are really sticking out to me. One, congratulations on saving through that 401k. That's what we've got to do. We're self-funding our retirement these days. It's not pension plans, our employer. We're doing that ourselves. So congratulations on putting money there. One thing, though, that I'm very concerned with is George is saying, look, I'm going to wait till 71 to take my Social Security. That is not something we would definitely want him to do. We would want him to take by age 70 because there's not going to be any additional benefits if he ends up waiting.
And Dave, some of the things I like that I wanted to point out is I love that they have their home paid off. They have little credit card debt. And like you said, most of their savings is 401k. So they did their part there. But the thing I wanted to dive into is exactly what you talked about is they're trying to do this together. They're trying to say, okay, I'll do 70, you do 71. Is that going to be a benefit for George?
Yeah, when you look at it from just a general financial standpoint, no. In fact, again, that Social Security we want to take earlier. The other thing to remember is by the time you get to full retirement age, which is going to be for him probably age 67, when we look at it, that would be full retirement age for him. You don't have to worry about what you make. So meaning he could start taking Social Security at age 70, which would going to recommend at least for one of them, maybe for both of them. But at that point, you can make all the money you want. And it's not going to reduce your benefits. So there's no reason for him to wait until he gets done working to take those benefits. What he wants to do is just do a calculation with an advisor or use the tools on Social Security's website to say, hey, when is the best claiming time for me and my wife based upon an overall joint planning?
All right. So Beverly and George, they want to diversify their assets. My very first question to you, Dave, is what type of investment or policy should they first check out?
One of the things that they've got to look at is just how much can they principal protect? And we're in an environment right now, the market's done unbelievable when we look back over the last 13 years, but it's not going to stay that way. In fact, we're seeing some situations now where it's starting to come down because of the economic uncertainty we have ahead of us. So one of the first things they want to do is just figure out what they should be principal protecting. What should we be putting in assets that never go down? And then from there, they can start looking at various products.
And Dave, this is another big thing. They do not have a life insurance policy. So they were wondering, should they consider a life insurance policy since they have a good chance of living to see 89?
Absolutely. When we look at it, because there's some benefits, and it's not necessarily the life insurance itself that we want. What we've got is we've got a situation where they've got a lot of assets in that 401k that's going to be taxed. We've got to get those tax risks off the table. So we're going to have a number of things we're going to want to look at. We're going to want to look at Roth accounts. Can we do some conversions there? And when we do those, are there opportunities to maybe get an annuity inside of there that's going to be principal protected, that if the market goes down, not going to go with it. It's going to outperform the bond market, going to provide us some security there. And then is there excess money that we could use or take advantage of life insurance to get the tax-free growth and then get to that chronic illness rider that they could use to cover a long-term care event if they have one?
Now, remember, Dave, Beverly and George are 63 and 64. Is this optimal time to buy life insurance, or are they kind of late to the game?
Yeah, so the younger we are, the cheaper it's going to be, obviously. But when we look at it, it's really not until we get into our 70s that the cost starts outweighing the benefits. When we're looking at it for a taxable benefit, free benefits, when we're looking at it from a long-term care perspective. So yeah, in their 60s, they're in great health. Yeah, these guys could live another 20, 30, maybe even 40 years when we look at what life expectancy is doing.
And Dave, let's jump down to my third question. George heard about account conversions. You touched on this, but can they convert their 401ks?
Possibly. Now this is an unfortunate thing about 401ks is all of them aren't structured to where they have an in-service distribution allowance, meaning that, hey, if you're working there, some of them are structured to where you can't move the money out. You can't take it anywhere. You've got to leave it inside of there. There's others that have what we call in-service distribution rules that allow you to move it whenever you want to, wherever you want to. So if his is set up to where he's got in-service distribution, yeah, he can move it out. If not, it's a big problem because they can't get into principal protected. They can't get into tax-free. I mean, all of these, they can't maybe even solve their long-term care issue by having the funds they need to cover a life insurance policy. All of these things get taken off the table, and we see it every once in a while, not in high numbers, but we see it where people get stuck, that if they've worked for a company most of their career and now they can't move anything, they're kind of in a bad situation until they end up leaving that job.
Well, Dave, is there a way they could combine their 401ks, or should they completely avoid doing this altogether?
Yeah, so they're not going to be able to do that. When we look at it, these plans are individual. They're for you. So they could be rolled out into IRAs, but they're going to be individual IRAs. They're not going to be joint IRAs. But yeah, you want to look at what can be done to move it out. And if the laws aren't such now inside of your company where it allows it, talk to your administrator, see if they'll make adjustments. Those adjustments aren't that expensive. Maybe anywhere from $250, $500 to have a plan amendment, maybe $1,000. But it may be well worth making those plan amendments. And again, not that you want to have to be paying out of pocket for what your employer does, but $1,000 to be able to have the freedom to get money moved to where it should be moved may be far cheaper than a 40% stock market drop that stays down 5 years that they can't get themselves out of.
I definitely agree. And with that, Dave, I do want to ask my final and fifth question. Could the Francos invest into an annuity and it be tax-free when they withdraw from it?
If they have in-service distributions, yes. If not, no. And the way it would work from a tax-free standpoint, so generally what's done, if there's in-service distributions, we roll them out into a traditional IRA account. There's no tax consequences on that. An annuity, if it's done with the right company, gets purchased inside of there, and then you start doing conversions. And these companies will allow you to do piecemeal internal Roth conversions to where you're going to do it over time. So you're not having to take, let's say you buy a $500,000 annuity, all of that doesn't have to be moved in 1 year with a $200,000 tax bill or whatever it may be. They can move it $100,000 a year, or whatever the amount is they need to move to make it mathematically work for them. And then the insurance companies will deal with the paperwork. So you're not having to worry about what's being done there. But yeah, they would have an opportunity and hopefully do. Again, we want to have freedom with that money. Government says, look, we're going to make you be responsible for your own retirement. But when they take away the freedom to do what you want to do yourself, pretty hard to get to the retirement you want to.
And Dave, what final advice do you have for Beverly and George as they're trying to map this out and they're saying, okay, here's our plan. What do we do?
Yeah, the biggest thing they need to do is they've got to be able to sit down with an advisor that can help them deal with this. Again, it sounds like they've got some pretty good knowledge. Sounds like they're in a position where they made a lot of good choices to get them into the place that they are now. But it's what you don't know, CR, that's the problem. It's not what you know. Again, they didn't know that taking my Social Security at 71 is not going to benefit me. I just wasted a year I shouldn't have wasted. When we look at in-service distributions, are those an option? Are there Roth options inside that 401k? Again, things that I'm guessing they don't know. That's where the issue comes, not the things that they know of saying, look, we're going to manage our budget. We're going to save money. We're going to put these things aside. We'll pay off our home. We'll stay out of credit card debt. Again, all good things, but these unknowns, that's where you need an advisor that understands what they're doing to sit down and help you through the process.
And Dave, I'm so grateful for your time, especially during this holiday season while you're out and about. And I appreciate you being here with us.
You're welcome. Glad to be here. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to everyone.
And I do want to let you know that you can find all of these things we've been discussing here at retirementriskadvisors.com. The thing we're trying to do is make sure you take action. Take action this year. So when you start 2022, it's a better year.
Agreed.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. And we'll see you again next time.